Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to my very first live stream. I hope you can hear me. Let me know in the chat if you can hear me. Hope things are going well for you. This is my first live stream. I thought I'd start doing this every Friday during my lunch break. Call it Fabric Friday. And won't be happening next week, but we're going to be out of town. So actually the following week. So scratch that. I will be doing one next week. I'm excited to do this. I hope you all are doing well, and let me know how you got into parcel work. It kind of fell into my lap. I got hired by a county government. They didn't have a parcel there, so I was the one who had to create it. So that's how I got into it. Let me know in the comments how you got into parcel work. I'm just going to jump right into it. This is a 28 lot subdivision in St. George, Utah. I don't know if you've ever been to St. George. It's kind of like it's the Florida of Utah, I guess. It's where everybody goes to retire and vacation sometimes. We go down there for our anniversary and usually end up going to ski resort and Zion National Park. So in this subdivision, we have a basis of bearing. It's right here. It's this bottom line here is the longest section line. So I'm just going to enter the basis of bearing in my ground to grid correction. So I enter the ground line and then I draw the grid line. I did enter the section corners. So the bearing for this is 89 degrees, 20 minutes, 18 seconds to the southeast. And it is, let's see how many feet it is. Oh, it's down here. And the feet, I'm going to enter the ground feet. So that's 2682.86 feet. Hit next. I'm going to click on this section monument and then this section monument, and that gets my ground to grid correction. Now I hope you can see this boundary description. Sorry about all those squiggles. I was getting people's names out of the PDF. So I hope you can read that boundary description, because I'm going to start entering that boundary description and set my start point. I have connection lines as my line feature, and it begins 89.20, 18 southeast. Actually, I can change my start location. It's actually from this corner. So can we do that yet? Nope. I wish they would do switch bearing to the opposite direction, but that isn't available yet. I think they say they're going to have that available. So 89, 20, 18 northwest, 1341.43. So I don't know if you see, I've got a keyboard camera up there. You can see my fingers doing their magic on the number keys. So now I'm just hit start new, and I'm going to change that to subdivision lines and then start going. And I'm trying to get this done in the hour, so I hope I get it done. So running thence 89, 2018 northwest, 578.21 feet. And then I go 69, 18, 27 northwest, 64.48 feet, 36, 25, 31 northwest, 24.88 feet. Whoops. Now I lost my place. 125 feet. 1 degree, 8 minutes. Whoops. You got to hit 08, 06. And you notice I'm typing in the degrees before the decimal, then I hit the decimal. Then minutes are the first two after the decimal, seconds are the second two digits after the decimal. And then I just hit dash and quadrant, and that way you don't have to hit as many keystrokes. It speeds things up a little. So that's the end, and it looks like I got a closure of 0.01 feet, so that closes pretty well. Maybe I should have thickened up my subdivision lines a little more so you could see them. So there's the subdivision boundary with the labels on. I'm going to back out of this, come up here, and hit I know why. I forgot to create the record. So I'm just going to create a record. I'm not going to enter the actual information. So now I can create seeds. I think I have to select all these subdivision lines and add them to the record. So now I'm going to create seeds. That puts my blue dot in the middle. Now I'm going to build the subdivision, and I can't remember the name of it, so we'll call it GIS Chops. So that's my subdivision. Now the next thing I want to do is I want to I'm going to georeference the subdivision plat. Now, I don't know if you guys know this trick, but I just figured it out this week. You can drag and drop a PDF onto your map, and then it's going to come up with a little dialogue that asks me which page do you want and what do you want the DPI to be. This is the first time I've done it, so I hope it works. See, PDF options, page 1, that's the one I want. Now I want 300 DPI. I'm going to hit OK. So what that did is it dropped that. Oh, it looks like the name of subdivision Stonegate at 7 something. It put an RGB, a raster file or raster layer in the map. So I can come up here while it's selected in the contents pane. I can go to imagery and then georeference. Now I'm going to fit it to the display, and then I'm going to start adding my control points. And you only have to do 3, so I'm just going to do 3 quick ones. While I'm doing that, how was everybody's summer? Summer's definitely over here. We had a freeze warning last night. We did quite a bit of traveling. I think we put 8,000 miles on our car. Drove up to Canada a couple times. So there's my control points. Now I'm going to hit save and close georeference. So now I've got my subdivision boundary, and I can take that PDF out, and it gives me more room. So now I've got my georeferenced subdivision plat in there. I'm going to take that subdivision and copy lines to my lots layer, and then start working with the lot lines. My first thing I do is I start dividing up the lot lines surrounding the subdivision, so it gives me points. So I use this divide tool, and I'm going to start with this line and just start entering the... Oh, that one's too long. I can't see it because of the label. 85. And I don't know if you know about this trick, but you can change this to 85 and make this 2, and it will add 2 85s. Maybe. Except I needed the 100. Whoops. Now, boy, those are not 85 feet. You can tell I didn't check this out. I'm going to start over. I'm going to say 100. No, it's 25. Boy, sorry. Must be nervous. 100. 85. So there must be some bug in there that you change it and it keeps it as 100. And then 25. And you see I get 0 remaining length. I've noticed lately that sometimes the people who draw up the plats don't care so much about 1/100 of a foot, so I've seen 1/100 of a foot be left over. I'm going to hit divide. Now I'm going to split up this line. And to get rid of all these numbers, I'm just going to hit this button again. Now I need to go, and I'm going to turn off some labels so I can see. There, now I can see the annotation. I'm going to move my mic so I can see my keyboard too. 25, 100.77. That matches perfectly. Now I'm going to select that line, hit that button. 80. Let's see, how many times does it do 80? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 times. Then 116.31. And 66.12. The reason I enter all of these distances because then the lines get populated with those distances. So you can see up here I get all of those distances populated on the lines. So that's why I enter that last one instead of just dividing it up and letting that last one be the remainder. Here's some more repetitive 80s. 3 again. And 91.97. And 33.5. Leaves 0 left over. This one doesn't have... Well, that's weird. That line's a little short, cut off there. So this one I'm going to split. Start with 8.87, 118.67. 82, 67.5. Now that's a weird... I think that's 16.8. These little areas are the places that are going to get you where there's little short distances that you may not notice. I think that's right. It's 30.7 plus 30.7. That's 61.4, right? And then another 16.8. probably wouldn't normally do that 16.8 because it's an easement, because I don't do easements. Do you guys do easements? And that's the exact distance. And this is the last one. 125. And you got to remember to hit that divide button every time, because sometimes I've forgotten to hit the divide button and then one line isn't split up, and I kind of get mad and blame it on the computer when it was really me. So the next thing I do is I start with the right of ways, or the rights of way. However, that's probably the right way to say it. But first of all, I'm going to come down here to the curve table. I'm going to try something here. I don't know if it'll work. Let that draw. I don't want it that. I want it to the size that I can read it. Oops. One more. No, I better go with this size. So now I'm going to go to the View tab and use the magnifier. And this thing's kind of tricky. I want to make it bigger. Getting it to resize is really tricky. I think I need to do it on these anchors, yeah. Yeah, I didn't practice this part because I didn't want to. I want to just do 10%. Nope, not 10%. 100. Let's try 100. And I'm going to shrink it down to fit that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pin that. You hit this pin, and now I can move it over here in the corner and have that available. What I usually do, this is so you guys can see it. What I usually do is I'll usually take a snip and sketch. I'll snip that area of the plat on the actual PDF and then have that open on my second screen, but you guys can't see my second screen. And if I made that second screen visible, then the resolution wouldn't be good enough. You wouldn't be able to see much. So now I'm going to do another traverse. This time, always change it, because I've done subdivision lines when I meant to do lot lines. I'm going to start up here. I'm going to come down here and say this is my closing location. And this auto pan is turned on, so that's up here in this hamburger. This auto pan is turned on. So I'm going to start typing them in. And a lot of times the bearings of certain lines are inferred, so they don't give you a bearing on that line, so it's the center line of the road. So I need to come down here, except that's when the auto pan gets you. Because I want to see that bearing. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's 1.0806 to the southwest, and I think it was a 75 feet. Now this is the first curve. I am going to make those lot lines easier to see. There, you can see the lot lines a little better, and I'm going to clear my selection. So this is my first curve. With curves, if they're tangent, you can hit the star button, which is, your ring finger, the top button with your ring finger on the number keys. You hit 0 and then enter. Now you hit the radius, and the radius, if it turns to the left, it's negative, and this one turns to the left and it's curve 19, so it's a radius of 25 feet, negative 25. And then I use the delta. I don't like the the arc length because I feel like the delta is more accurate, and the delta angle on that is 90 degrees. And if everything worked right, we should have this same bearing, 88, 51, 54 in there. Yep. So that's another reason I like the delta, is it usually gives me that bearing coming out of the curve. So now I hit 75. Because I'm using the same bearing, I'm just hitting enter again, then 85. And then because this line is the very same as the last line, I just hit enter twice. And then enter again, 75. Tangent curve 18. I'm betting that's 25. Yep, and 90. And this is 108.06 again. I don't know why they don't show you that bearing when you go pan the map, but that's the right bearing. 75 feet. And my misclosed distance is 0. So, and now you come up here and it should force, it doesn't say it's force closed, but I've not worried about it, and it's worked before. So now I hit new again. I hit start on this location. And we come all the way around to this spot here. Whoops. We're going to start over here and finish over here because I hit new by accident. Set closing. Now I have to scroll back because my auto pan doesn't work. If you have any questions, this is 3.3 for Pro. If you have any questions, throw them there in the chat, or I don't know, is that what you call it, the chat? Throw them in the comments there, and I'll try to remember to look over there once in a while. So this is curve 1, and it's not a tangent curve, so I have to enter this is the chord bearing. If you guys don't know, let me know in the comments if you need a lesson on curves. This is the chord bearing. That means it's a straight line from the point of beginning to the end point. That's the chord bearing. And that's what I have set up in here. Oh no, I think I had it as tangent. So you can set what type of curve bearing you're going to be using. So I want it to be chord bearing. This is curve 1, so that's 71.2438. It says southwest, but I'm going the other direction, so it's northeast, and that's quadrant 1. And I hit 0 there. The radius is 25 to the right, and the delta is 39.2654. And hopefully 88, 51, 55. See, and I don't know if that's a Esri thing, but it's like a 50-50 that I get 1 second off when I come out of a curve. So that is, I don't know if that's going to be, we'll try it. I'll show you a trick if it doesn't. 41.62, didn't get there. So what you can do, this is a neat little trick, 41.62 plus 17.5. That field will do math for you. So you don't have to get out a calculator, add it up in your head, which I would never do on a live stream. I would hate to, Jeremy just said, not expecting to see me on the TV at lunch, but I'd hate to see me on a high-def, big-screen TV. So now I'm working on the curve 2. I'm going to hit star because it's a tangent curve. 0 for my length gets me into the radius field. Curve 2 is 25 to the right and 90 degrees delta. Let's see if that got 108.06. I'm going to turn on the auto pan again since I'm not going to clear across. 108.06 to the southwest, that's what it is. 65 feet, enter again because I'm on the same bearing, 73.81. Now I'm in a tangent curve, small little section of a curve, curve 3. This is to the right again, so 50 radius, and my delta is 16.2453. That looks a little long to me. So I'm going to have to do something a little tricky there. Did I enter the wrong? Oh yeah, I entered the wrong delta. I don't know which one that was, but it's 9.2538. So that happens a lot too. And we're going to hit tangent again, and I don't have to enter a 0 this time because it keeps the previous entry. I want 50 again because it's the same curve, just split. And this is the 16.2453. That's curve 4. So I entered the wrong curve's delta. So now I'm on a curve to the left. It's tangent 0. Curve 5 is negative 50 and 56.3507. Tangent, and now I'm just hitting enter 2 times for curve 6, 53.3306, and curve 7. So now I'm just looking at the deltas because that curve is going to have the same radius. Now I'm looking at curve 8 to the right instead of to the left. So I had negative 50, and I bet curve 8 is 50 as well. Yep. Oop. See, I messed that up. And the delta is 25.5031. So that messed me up because when I entered the 50 in the distance, that messed up this. So I don't know if I can hit star and it works. Yep. So you can go back and do some correcting and it'll work. I've had varying levels of success with that, but I doubt my bearing will be right. 89, 20, 17. See, it's that 1 second off. And I don't know if that's Esri's math or the engineers are a little lazy. I don't know which one that is. So I'm just hitting enter because I'm on the same bearing, 80 feet. I'm betting 80 feet again. What happened to my... Oh, maybe I hit it. 80 in there. So now I'm 23.26. Curve 9 has a 50-foot radius to the right. 29.5624 delta. Now curve 10 is to the left. Negative 50 feet. 3901. Whoops. Curve 11 is also 50 feet, 54, 12, 10 on the delta. Curve 12 is 520521. Now curve 13 is 50 to the right, 25.5031. Now we're into 1.0805, yep. So these are the tricky lines, these little 3.34 foot lengths, 80, 80, so I just hit enter twice, and I'm going to do it again. Enter. And that's the end, and I got 0 misclose error. So now I've got an island in the middle. Doing those are a little bit tricky. What I do is I find a place where there's a straight line straight across. I'm going to do a connection line that starts here and is I can't set the closing, so I'm going to start there. And the right angle bearing to this line is going to be this bearing. So I use the bearing of this center line, which is 1.0806 to the northeast, 50 feet. So that's how I get to the interior. Now I'm going to say new, change it back to lot lines. Then I'm going to go this way because I don't want to start with a curve because it's more typing. I'm going to end with the curve. So that is 80. So this is where that auto pan gets me. 89.216 to the northwest, 60 feet, 85, double enter, 60. Tangent curve, curve 15. To the right is 40-foot curve, 90.2823 delta. 1.0807 instead of 06. 58.22. See, and this is where the auto pan kind of falls short. It doesn't quite pan far enough. I wish it would pan to the center. It has good and bad qualities. Curve 16, enter 0 in the distance, and that's a 25-foot radius curve to the right and 90 degrees. 88, 51, 54, it gave me the right bearing this time. 75 feet, 85, double enter, enter 75. Curve 17 to the right, it's a 25 and 90, 1.0806, got the right bearing this time. And our last curve is curve 14, which is 40 foot to the right, 89, 31, 37. I got a 0.01 misclosed distance. So that gets me all of my rights of way. Now I'm going to start, well, I guess I need to do this one here in the corner. Going to do new, set a start point. See, this is where it drives me nuts. Auto pan's way over there. And then closing, I'm going to go to that point. I start out with 1.0806 to the southeast. Nope, southwest. 65 feet, curve 20. To the right is 25, 46.08. Nope, that's the chord bearing. 90. $88, 51, 54. Yep. Here we go again. 41.62 plus 17.5. I don't know if you guys do those little easements, and maybe that's actual open space. I didn't look at it to see. Sometimes our recorder's office gives those a parcel number, sometimes they don't. It just depends. So I kind of go until they give it a parcel number, then I may go back and enter that. Tangent curve to the right, curve 21 is 25, radius 39.2654. 0.01 closure error. So now I just go through and I start entering these, and this is where I think the ArcMap traverse entry grid was better, because I could type in start points. With this one I have to click closing, start and closing, but I do have some tricks to make this faster, and I don't know if it's going to be faster. So I select that line, and then I come over here, I go back to modify, and I look for copy parallel. Here's the copy parallel tool. Where these two are the same distance apart and they're the same line, I can say I want to copy it twice to the right and 85 feet apart. How come it's not showing me? Oh, it is. It is showing me. It's very faint. It's a little blue line. I don't know if you can see it. Oh, that's because it's giving me connection lines. I want lot lines. So now they'll show up. So it gives you a little preview. Then you got to hit copy. So that copies those two lines over. And it should match up with those two endpoints, the lines. I usually wait to the end to see if it creates seeds in there. If it doesn't, then I'll do an align features tool or swipe there and get those. So with this island in the middle, I am going to clear my search, go back to traverse, hit the start point, and then my closing point is going to be over here. Whoops. Then these in the middle. And again, these are the same lines. I don't know if it's faster doing this. I mean, I waste a lot of time, and I should add copy parallel to my favorites. So I need to select the line, and luckily it's the same parameters as I used last time. And then we will, heck, let's try something else. Since these are all, nope, they're not identical. So never mind, I was going to just copy and move it, but they're not identical. So now I'm going to do this one. That closed. Yeah, the distances are different, so I'm going to have to enter each one. But what you can do is you can copy the bearing. That makes it a little faster. This is what I hate about this is you have to click the start point and click the end point. Before I could just stay on the keypad and like select. With the ArcMap, it had point labels, so you could enter the point number and then enter the bearing and distance, and then it automatically populated. If it was within a distance of the closing point, it would automatically snap to that point. So with that, I was really fast. This way, I'm a little slower. Control V puts in my bearing, 96.32. So that gets my island done. Let's start over here. '88, 51, 54 southeast, 100 feet. And I didn't copy my bearing. So this is the process I don't like, is this new start and close. If you guys know a better way of doing this, let me know. So I just go around. So these are the same. So I'm going to be able to duplicate this line 3 times. Let's see. Yep, 3. I'm going to add this tool to my favorites. So I'm going to change that to 80 feet and go 3 times. Hit copy. Excuse me. Don't know when I did identify some lines. That's when that pop-up came up. So if you want, put in the comments, excuse me, how long you've been doing parcel data and what you think of the parcel fabric, whether you use the parcel fabric, whether you're thinking about it. Excuse me. Did not get a cup of water. See, these are not the same distances, so I can't copy the, but I can copy the bearing from my attributes. My attributes window is on the other screen. So these are parallel lines, but the distances are just a little off. And I guess I could do the copy parallel and then just adjust the distances. But so there's all the lots. So we don't need this anymore. And let's see. I have to go back here to view. So that's the thing with Pro. Everything's a toggle. I have to turn it off this way. There's no X that I can just close it. So there's all my lot lines. The next thing I do is I create seeds. I don't know if you guys can hear the road traffic. I tried to set it up so the road traffic isn't very bad. Okay. So I've got seeds. I just, next thing I do is I do a visual to see if I got seeds in all the locations. Looks like I missed one here. I'm not sure why, because all my closure errors looks like I missed 3 there. You can see because there's a seed here for the middle of that one. And this seed is left over from when I copied lines from my subdivision. I plopped it in the middle of the subdivision. So these did not, looks like this one did, but these 2 did not. So to fix that, I just do a quick align features. Why is that not part of my favorites? It is on my work computer. Now I'm going to have to search for align features. So I do align features, and I say like half a foot, and I just do a quick sketch along there and say a line, and then another one along here and hit a line. So that gets those two. Now if I hit create seeds, it does create seeds in those, and that centered one is for lot 38. Now where else did we have a problem? Right here. I don't know, how do you guys, when you encounter this, do you feel good about this align features method? Or do you go in and move the vertices? I'm fine with the align features method. So it looks like it created a weird little one in the middle. So to get rid of that one, what I'm going to do, I'm going to pin my contents pane back. What I'm going to do is I come over here to selection and I change my selection to lots, because you can select the seeds. Those count as lots. And then I just delete that one. So now I think I have a seed in every one of the lots. Now I click build, and it's going to build each of the lots. And my next step is sequential numbering. Well, I lost all my favorites. I think it's when I did my update. So the sequential numbering tool is one of the most handy tools that they have. You pick a layer, which is my lots layer. You pick a field, which is the name field. And then I can't remember what the name of the subdivision is. What is it? Where did they put it? Stonegate. We'll just say SG dash hash hash hash. So that's going to give me a four-digit lot number. I'm going to start with lot 1, increment by 1. Now my sequential numbering tool is active, so I start here with lot 1, and I just start drawing a sketch around here. And then this subdivision goes to 15, and then it jumps to 33. So all I have to do is change this to 33, start up again, 33, 30 to 36, 37, 40, 41 to 44, and then 58, I think, if I'm reading that right. So there we go. That's how you use the sequential numbering tool. That, like I say, that is one of the most handy tools that they have put out lately. You can have stuff in front of the number, stuff after the number. Anything that's a hash will be part of the sequence. So, and it will fill in with zeros before, if you have multiples, or if you have more hashes than you have digits. And then I guess my next step is I select the lots. I'm holding down my shift key here to select multiples. And then I copy these lines to tax parcels. The rights of way don't get parcel numbers usually, so I don't copy those over to tax parcels. And then all the seeds should come across, so I hit build. And then I just go through this sequential numbering thing and go through that with tax parcels as the layer instead of lots, and then I populate the parcel number sequence in that format field. So that's how I do a subdivision. Looks like I got it done with 10 minutes to spare. Do you guys have faster ways you do things? Have you seen me do something that you go, merge points. Tom, you do merge points instead of... Yeah, that's probably smart. I don't know if the points get created when when the lines don't match up. So I don't know. I'd have to look at that to see if merge points would work. It says Tom tried version 1 Parcel Fabric and dropped it. Been with version 2 for a few years. How do you like it? It's much more complex cadastre. Does that mean? What do you mean by that? I guess I don't understand what that. The fabric is much more complex, or the way I'm doing it is more complex? Oh, you do mining claims? Yeah, we we have a lot of those too, and they're a mess. In fact, I haven't even bothered with them. We're just using our old plats for those. Homesteads, yeah, we don't have a lot of that. Well, I think that wraps things up. I hope you guys are subscribed to the channel. Make sure you ring the bell so you know when I'm going live and when I drop a video. Tom says his section corners are 800 feet off from the BLMs. Yeah, that's an issue. Subdivisions from the 1950s and 60s. We don't have a lot of that. I think we don't have any from the 50s. I think in my county we only have in the 60s. And I have one subdivision that has several plats that they started out with the first one, and then for the beginning of the others, they use a lot corner for that one, from that one. So each subsequent plat takes the errors from the first plat, and they're kind of magnified as you get further away from that first plat. It's a nightmare. I hope that there's subdivisions around them so that I make those work and then make the old ones fit to the new ones. That's how I deal with the older ones. Those old ones are tricky too because, you think like those center lines on the road, the bearing and distance is inferred. Those older ones, they infer a lot, like radial bearings. Most of the times on those old ones, radial bearings, the lot lines are the radial line to the curve. So you'll hit a non-tangent curve and you don't know what the bearing to the center is, or the tangent bearing, or they don't give you the chord bearing. You've got to do some math or try out a lot line to see if that points to the center of the circle. Spherical curves. Yeah. I like curves. I think curves are fun. I don't know if you guys if you're aware, but at Pro, you can now start entering spiral curves. They're kind of cool. Forever ago, I did not get spiral curves. I didn't understand them, but I had to read a surveying book, or I bought a PDF book that talks about railroad and highway surveying. That explains spiral curves to me. Old highways will have spiral curves. New highways don't, because they found out people driving a car can go into a tangent curve, but trains can't. The reason they have spiral curves is trains can't go right into a curve, so you got to ease it into it. So the first the first part of the spiral curve has a variable radius. It gets sharper and sharper as you go along. So that's what a spiral curve is, and they're crazy. Well, it looks like we're coming up on an hour. Appreciate you guys being here with me. If you know other people that do parcel work, let them know. I plan on doing one of these every Friday, except when I'm traveling. So be sure to subscribe to the channel and ring that bell so you know when I'm going live. I'll try to schedule them in the middle of the week. I mean, I will set the stream up in the middle of the week so you get a notification of when I'm doing it on Friday. But yeah, let me know if you know a shortcut that I'm missing for those. I need to talk to Amir and everybody at the Parcel Fabric team to... I don't know, have you guys driven a newer sports car? Like, we rented a Mustang when we went on a trip, and it has a mode dial, like track mode and highway mode and gas mileage mode. We didn't know about that knob until halfway through the trip, and it was on, I don't know, gas mileage mode. And, you know, why do you rent a Mustang if you don't put it through its paces? So found that dial, switched it to, I can't even remember what the setting was, but that's what I wish we had for the traverse tool, is like, hey, I'm doing lot lines now. So then it displays points, it's point numbers. So you can just enter a point number from point, and then it will snap to the 2 point if you get it close. Because that's what I loved about the ArcMap Traverse entry grid, was I could just stay on my number keys and never had to leave it. Now I have to grab my mouse, move it over, and the auto pen kind of makes it a pain. Anyway, that's what I wish. So Amir, if you're watching, or maybe I'll send you this recording when we're done. Well, thanks everybody for joining me. I hope you found that entertaining and helpful. If you do, be sure to give it a like, and we'll see you next time.